you're doing circle prospecting and you're not getting 1 to 2 qualified seller leads every single day, check out this video because you might be falling into some of the most common mistakes when doing circle prospecting. Let's jump into it. I'm Gus here with PowerISA, and when we started the company back in 2015, we started it as a circle prospecting company. So we've been doing this for years, doing as many as 50,000 outbound calls every single day, mostly for circle prospecting. So we know a thing or two about how to do it right. Outbound prospecting is part of the company's DNA, and we know how to do the right things, and we also know how to quickly identify when someone is doing it wrong. If you want some tips on how to get started with circle prospecting from the get-go, check out the link in the description on my other video about the truth about circle prospecting. But let's jump into the mistakes. I'd say the number one mistake people can fall into when trying out circle prospecting is they do not pay attention to the contact rate. What do I mean by that? It means how many numbers do you have to dial to talk to somebody, actually have a conversation. If you're not getting a contact rate of at least 10% of the numbers you're dialing, something is wrong. You need to make a change. In order to have any kind of chance of success, you need to talk to as many people as possible. If you're doing a farming activity like circle prospecting, you have to at least talk to 30, 40, 50 people in a single dialing session to have any kind of chance of success. If your contact rate is very low, it could be several things going on. Number one, you might not be dialing as many numbers as you need to. Number two, your list might be really poor quality, and I'll be talking about that further along. Or number three, your phone number might be tagged as a spam number, as a telemarketing number, potential robocall, potential scam. A lot of these different things can happen because of the technology that the operating systems on the phones have and from the carriers. You got to be careful. If you have a decent contact rate and suddenly it drops by half or even more within a day or two, your phone is probably already tagged as a potential scam call. So the only solution we found to that is to change and try a different number. We have cold calling teams within PowerISA, and on a daily basis, the target is to get a 25 to 30% contact rate on the numbers dialed. You've got to have the right list, right dialer, and your phone cannot be tagged as spam in order to achieve those kinds of numbers. Another really common mistake people make is they do not have the right dialer. Now, folks, it's important to understand circle prospecting is a numbers game. The more numbers you dial, the more people you can talk to. You can definitely start out trying a single line dialer and get through as many numbers as possible. But it is more than likely you're going to need a multi-line dialer because a lot of these lists for circle prospecting, they have relatively low contact rates. 10 to 20% might be a really good contact rate, but you have to dial a lot of numbers to get there. Dialers like Mojo, Batch Dialer, 5.9, all of these dialers are great for real estate. They allow you to process lists relatively quickly, and they have features to make sure you are compliant while making these calls. Another mistake is you might not have the right list. You've got to make sure you have a solid list for circle dialing. One of the best ways to get it is through the dialer you've purchased. You can get a circle prospecting list from Mojo Dialer, from RedX Vortex, from Vulcan 7. You can get them directly and integrated from them. But also be careful. Like I said, you need to have at least a 10% contact rate to get anything to happen. So really measure that closely. If that list is not getting you enough people to talk to, try a different vendor. There are list brokers just like Cole Information. Their Cole Realty Resource product is one of the most popular ones out there, probably one of the most cost effective. If the dialer and the list they're providing are not great, try purchasing a list from a vendor like Cole. You might be able to get better results. Find a way to make it work. Another big mistake when it comes to circle prospecting for real estate is you approach it with the wrong expectation. Folks, this is a farming activity. If you go into it trying to get a bunch of listing appointments within the first month, within the first couple of months, you're going to be very frustrated and you're going to fail. This kind of activity doesn't yield appointments right off the bat. It gives you nurturers, qualified leads, potential sellers, homeowners that are at least curious about maybe buying or selling in the next 6 to 12 months that you're going to put in your list and you're going to nurture. It might take a year for them to take action. The goal of circle prospecting is to build that pipeline of seller nurtures. Get them in there, get them in there, get them in there. So within the next 3 to 6 months, some of those nurtures are going to start to mature and they're going to take action. That's the whole goal of circle prospecting. Do not mistake it with calling expireds, for sale by owners, or bottom of funnel internet leads like Zillow.com and Realtor.com. Those calls can potentially yield appointments much faster. Circle prospecting is playing the long game. You need to have patience with it. It can take 3 months, it can take 6 months to see tangible results. But once you have a pipeline of 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 seller leads, you're going to be set. One of our clients at PowerISA, we help them generate a nurture list for sellers of over 1,000 people. That list helped power his business and make him the number 2 top broker in his office for 5 years straight. Guys, this works, but you gotta be patient and you gotta put in the work. Another mistake you can make when trying out circle prospecting is great. You've got the list, you've got the dialer, you're making those calls, you're getting those nurtures in there, is that you drop the ball on follow-up. It's not just about converting them into a qualified lead. It doesn't end there. You've got to be checking in with them. Part of the script that we recommend says you have to ask the seller for permission. Hey, when is a good time for me to follow up with you, right? When is a good time for our next conversation, right? And let them tell you. Whatever number they tell you, we always cut it in half and we make a call earlier, right? Because people might not even know when they want to talk to you next. They're not sure when that decision is going to come. So you got to check in just in case they've made a decision and you want to be top of mind for them no matter what. Following up with nurtures, at least on a monthly basis or every couple of months, or at the very least on a quarterly basis, is really important, because otherwise you're never going to see the kind of ROI you can potentially get with circle prospecting. You can put these nurtures on a follow-up calling plan. You can mix it up with text messages. You can even ask them for permission to add them to your newsletter. Show value. You want to show them what's going on in the market. You want to show them recently sold homes. You want to show them great features of the neighborhood, etc. Find a way to get multiple touch points, because that will make nurturing that much easier. Another mistake that I think a lot of agents make when they're doing circle prospecting is, yes, circle prospecting is primarily focused on generating sellers. But guess what? Throughout the process, you also generate buyers, either because someone's renting, they're living in a different location than you thought, etc. You actually run into several potential buyers. Now, most agents, they just discard them, get rid of them, don't pay attention to them. You're not a homeowner? Buy. I feel that that's a mistake for 2 main reasons. Number 1, you should be building a pipeline of potential buyers. Hand them off to your lender. Have them try and get them qualified. See what they can purchase. Make it a team effort. You never know what can come out of that. And number 2, you do not know if that potential lead is being honest with you. It's an initial call. It's a cold call. They might just want to get you off the phone. Ask if you can help them. Find a way to be a resource for them. If they actually have a home to sell before they're going to buy, you want to be that trusted agent, and you will not build that trust if you're not trying to serve every single potential lead, every single potential nurture that comes your way. The last mistake we're going to talk about today is lack of consistency. You might get the dialer and the data, and you've got the script, and you've got everything ready to go, but you're not doing this activity every single day. Folks, that's a big mistake. Remember, it's a numbers game. You have to play a game. How many qualified nurturers can you get into your list, into your pipeline, the fastest possible? You're not going to be successful with circle prospecting unless it is done at least 3 to 4 hours a day, preferably more. That is where leverage can help you out. If you see the value and the return on investment with circle prospecting, add leverage to your process. This is where an ISA can help you out. Hire someone onto your team that can make those calls and help you reach those numbers much faster. All right, folks, that's it. Hopefully this has been really helpful for you guys. You've gotten some great tips to improve your circle prospecting game. If you found this video interesting and useful, please crush that subscribe button. We release a new video with lots of tips and tricks every single week. Thanks.